only winning if you're happy, period. You're not an asshole because you don't care what people think. You're just happy with who you are. Let me ask you something. Does it ever feel like you're doing everything right, waking up early, putting in the work, staying out the way, and somehow it still feels like you're falling behind? That sounds like you? And this video is for you, because I know that feeling, and I know the truth about it. And you're not behind, you're just being tested. My name is Devontae, and I'm a 29-year-old husband and father. I drive trucks, any kind of truck, because I'm certified to do it all. I'm a licensed insurance broker. Yeah, man, pretty much. I just appreciate the value that my family brings, my wife, my children. You know, man, I'm blessed. You know, see down some things about being a 20-year-old and that feeling of being behind and why you just might feel that way. So with that being said, man, let's get into the first point that I want to talk about today, and that is the lie of being behind. See, social media makes it feel like you're losing because everybody's posting wins. Nobody's posting their losses. And when you only see half the story, you believe you're behind. You know, 77% of young people say social media impacts how much they compare themselves to others. And that's a study done by CyberSmile in 2023, right? So, you know, just off the first point there, you have to understand, just like a highlight reel tape, you know, it's literally called a highlight reel tape. You never heard of a low light reel tape because nobody cares about the plays when you're not making baskets or you're not scoring, you're not winning. Nobody's showing the low lights of their life because it's called a highlight reel. Literally, they're just doing their best, giving their best plays, you know. And so if you had the power, social media is like allowing you to have control over your own narrative because you're creating the highlight reels that people get to see. You want to make that the image that you portray online, you can get away with that, as opposed to highlight being you actually enjoying the life that you live and appreciating the life that you have. That's the real highlight. That one might go over your head, but the truth about it is, you know, you're only winning if you're happy, period. Now let's get into point number 2. Highlight reels versus real life. The truth about being 25, see, most people are still figuring it out, and a lot of folks you think are ahead are actually stressed, in debt, and quietly doubting themselves too, but they don't post that part. 58% of young adults between the ages 18 and 25 said they lacked meaning or purpose in recent months. And that was from a Harvard study, also done in 2023. And that's actually pretty sad because when you think about the fact that adults, whether young or not, but it's on us, once again, as I stated earlier in the video, this is why you have to make it your responsibility. The things that you consume and how you respond to those things, the results are ultimately on you. This is the point here, man. Like, you could or should be doing the work to improve yourself and validate your own self. Whether or not you're validated by others, it really should hold less weight than the validation that you give yourself, right? Moving along. Point number 3. Pressure leads to paralysis, okay? See, the more you compare, the less you move, because in your head, you're already losing. That pressure kills momentum. 60% of young people between the ages of 18 and 24 say they felt so overwhelmed by the pressure to succeed that they couldn't even cope. We've all felt like I should be in a better position than I am now. And you have to remember, you have to remind yourself that, you know, the standard that you're holding yourself to may not even be a standard that is, relative to you. I don't think that is wrong to look at people who are in a better position and you want to be there where they are, or you want to, learn from them and grow to be where that person is. But you have to also balance that with the reality that you're not there just yet. And that person may have a lot more experience. They may have a lot more knowledge than you do. So you're not going to ultimately have the results that another person has. And that's why comparison is dangerous. Like they say, comparison kills dreams. You need to not compare your results to the results of other people. Your results are going to be a result of the work you put in, but a comparison is not doing the work at all. So, you have to literally model yourself as the person you want to become. Ultimately, you will start to do the things that get the things, if that makes any sense. So, you're not feeling this way because it's true. You're feeling this way because your perspective needs to change. And that's just the simplest way to put it. If you think that something is so valuable and so important to you, and to not have that is going to be stressful. Prioritize the things that matter and make sure the things that motivate you are the things that make you great. Next point. Being behind is a false ideology. You're not late. You're on your time. Most people are running a race they didn't even sign up for. You feel behind because you're looking at the wrong scoreboard, right? As I stated in the previous point, you have to live with the results that come from the work you put in. Even when I'm talking with my daughter, she's in kindergarten now, so she's learning. So don't worry about the outcome. Don't worry about the grade. Don't worry about the percentage. Focus on the work you put in. The results would never matter because you know why you got the result you got. If you do your best, you should get the result that comes from doing your best. But here's the thing. Doing your best does not mean you're going to succeed. So we have to also be okay with understanding that your best may not be the best. It may not be good enough. And that's when you know it's time to go to the drawing board and I have to improve. And that's where the real work is done. The people who can acknowledge the fact that I have to improve and it's time to make those improvements. And when you start to make those improvements, you start to see the results that get you the success that you asked for. So this is the point here. You're not on somebody else's time to compare what their results are to yours. What you're looking at is where you're at and the outcome of the results from the work you put in. So, learn how to be somebody who really focuses on self-improvement, being the best version of myself, going within and improving from the inside and letting things reflect on the outside and not vice versa. Truly, as cliche as it may sound, reform yourself as a person, from the inside out. So with that being said, the results will always be the results. As long as you're the best version of yourself, you can always live with the results. And that's how happiness is obtained. Okay? Social comparison linked directly to lower mood and self-worth. Days with more upward comparison equaling worse mental health. Okay, so that's another study done by Nature, and you can even look at that and just see that naturally comparing yourself to others or seeking validation from others will ultimately result in feeling less than, feeling less of, because the only reason to want to compare yourself to anything or anybody is just because you feel like they're better. You would never compare yourself to anybody that you think is less than. And my last point is you need to learn how to reframe the time that you give yourself. Once again, you're not behind, you're on your time. So you have to understand that slow growth isn't failure, it's foundation. Building fast and flashy leads to collapse. Building slow and steady lasts. The quiet years are what make the loud years possible. Research shows upward comparison hurts mood in the short term, but people who slow down and focus inward report stronger long-term self-worth. When you look at yourself, who you are, and you truly embrace that, and that's not about the appearance or anything. We're talking about truly being happy with who you are. If you make a decision, you're happy with that decision. If you wear a shirt and people don't like it, you still love that shirt. You're not an asshole because you don't care what people think. You're just happy with who you are. It doesn't bother you that other people don't like you, don't accept you. You have found so much happiness within yourself that you don't have to put others down to truly appreciate and love who you are. And it just becomes a natural way of being and seeing things. Okay? So just to close out my final point, if you feel like you're buried right now, you're not. You're planted. And when the time is right, you'll break through. And understand there are many ways that you could focus on self-improvement, but mental health is probably one of the most important ways that you could actually improve your being. Because if you're not here, you can't be anywhere else, right? You can't even focus. So you have to learn how to be planted in the mind, rooted in the mind, because the mind is connected to the spirit, the soul. All right, let's not get too deep here. But, you have to be so grounded psychologically in understanding that the core of my being, this is me, and I know who that is, right? Now, as I stated, man, I am a insurance broker. So if this hit home, don't just scroll on to the next thing. I put together a free guide called The Legacy Blueprint. It's a short, simple, and it'll help you reflect on what really matters: your people, your future, and what happens if you don't make it home. So download it, take it seriously, because drifting won't protect them, but discipline will. And it's free, so how can you beat free? But other than that, that pretty much concludes my video for today. Don't forget to download that free legacy guide, go through it, answer the questions, see how it applies, take it seriously, and comment some things that you might want to speak on that relates to you about these topics today. Like the video, share it, subscribe. Let's work. Let's do this thing. So, lock in, tap in. I'll be back. I'll see you soon.